The question I have for your audience as well as yourself is after the performance we've seen, and I think you and I talked about this a couple of times already, we identified the last time we talked that the Steelers had a winning record, and we were all hyped about how they were doing. And I quickly brought up the fact that the schedule is going to change and is going to determine what type of team we have.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
that being said, with the colossal performance in Cincinnati, the collapse on Sunday, and the way that everybody is playing, is it a feeling within the organization that it's time for a change? Change in the fact of the head coach, change in the fact of philosophy, change in the fact of the defensive coordinator and offensive coordinators. We bring players in. Like I told you last time we talked, we got rid of our best defensive player outside of J.J. Watt and Mika Fitzpatrick.
TJ Watt. Hold on. Who are you saying who are you saying we got rid of that was one of our best players?
He's saying Minka Fitzpatrick.
We got rid of Mika Fitzpatrick. And we brought in Jalen Ramsey, who's been on, this is his third or fourth team, if I'm not mistaken. So he hasn't really provided any benefits from my perspective.
I disagree.
Patrick Queen. Well, I understand you're going to disagree. I'm okay with that. Patrick Queen,
that was JT, but that was JT. But I disagree too.
I know it was.
Yeah, Ramsey got us our first victory.
But he got us our first victory against a weak opponent.
A weak opponent that just beat Cincinnati.
But Cincinnati, you know why they beat Cincinnati? Cincinnati collapsed like we did.
Okay.
The thing about it is being able. The point I'm trying to make, and this is the question I have for the audience and for yourself.
Okay.
Has the complacency of Tomlin become a negative effect on the Steelers as a whole? That's the question I have.
Okay. Well, let me.
I went to the game in Cincinnati.
Right.
I went to the game in Cincinnati.
Right.
And looking at the body language of the players on the bench,
mm-hmm.
the only person was trying to get them hyped was Tomlin.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody was doing anything to get anybody hyped.
Yeah.
So
Rodgers got excited because the defensive offensive tackle jumped on top of him.
So let me ask.
Why he got hyped.
Let me ask you a question really quick, because I think I just want to make sure I'm hearing you correctly. Your question was, has the complacency of Tomlin become a negative impact on the team? But you just said he's also the only one trying to hype up the players on the sidelines.
Well, when I say complacency, is the fact that everybody has become comfortable with his coaching style, and you see very little performance as far as the effort from the overall team. We have not seen any form of difference with Rodgers or getting rid of new offensive line, whomever. It doesn't matter. Joey Porter still is garbage. I don't care what no one says on the call. He's garbage. He's horrible.
Now let me. Okay. Let me.
That's the only question I want to answer right now is the fact that have Tomlin's complacency become a negative impact on the Steelers? And that's the question I have.
Okay, complacent. Listen, I'm over Lewis. I'm over at the Steelers facility on a weekly basis. Okay, so I just don't go to the games. I go to the practices as well. Those guys are not complacent, not at all. They want to win. Aaron Rodgers wants to win. He understands this might be his last year. Those guys want to play for Coach Tomlin. What people have to understand about the NFL, there's 17 games, and you're going to have some ups and downs. And you have to understand how the Rooneys operate as well. They don't get rid of coaches while they're under contract. Okay, they made an exception when it came to Matt Canada. I have all the confidence in the world in Mike Tomlin to do what's needed. Now, I say that, I'm gonna kind of confidence this Sunday. Okay. But we have to let the story be we have to let the story be written.
But that's bad when it comes from a faithful Steeler fan.
The defense is horrible. The defense is horrible.
No, that's what I'm saying. We look at the fact that when has anybody ever told us in my 60 years that the Steelers defense is horrible? We always knew the offense was questionable when we had, various people at quarterback, whatever. But the Steelers defense was always tough nosed.
Right.
And the problem which we have, and I brought this up the last time we talked. And Coach, you can identify this, and if I'm wrong, please tell me if I'm wrong. Show me one dog besides J.J. Watt that we have. I know that he's a
TJ.
Show me one dog. I just said that.
Cam Hayward.
Well, Cam Hayward is a dog. And also, you said something about Ramsey. Ramsey is a baller now.
He's a dog as well. He's
Ramsey's a baller, man.
And let me tell you all somebody else that's a dog. A dog, okay, is someone, and we all might have different descriptions of a dog, but a dog is talented, but is very aggressive, that will run through a wall. And when I talk about this dog, I think about this guy running through a wall. He just got hurt this past week. Deshaun Elliott.
Yeah.
Deshaun Elliott.
Okay.
That dude is hard nosed. He'll come up and hit you.
My definition of a dog is the fact, regardless of whom he may face, teammates or opponents, he's not afraid to get in your face and tell you what you're not doing. Where do you see that on the team? Telling teammates that they need to get their stuff together.
Oh, the person you agreed that is a dog doesn't do that. Lewis, TJ Watt doesn't do that. TJ Watt doesn't get in your face like that.
So my thing of it is what happened to the mentality of the Steelers defense of being physically and mentally tough with teammates and opponents?
Well, to be fair,
that's the reason why I asked the question, and I posed the question: has Tomlin's complacency become a negative effect on the Steelers?
And I say no. But Ken?
No, I was going to say there are players on the team that are consistently talking to each other and communicating with each other to fix the issues out there. This isn't just they're going back to the bench and everybody's just sitting there and not talking, right? Like that. Let's give them a little bit of credit here. So they're not doing that. They're also when they're out there, you see a lot of communication. You see a lot of them trying to fix mistakes. I just don't know if it's a true scheme issue or is this a true player issue. Right.
But I do agree with one thing you said, Lewis, and then we're going to have to let you go. All right. I think I wouldn't call Mike Tomlin being complacent. What I see Mike Tomlin being is stubborn. Okay.
Yeah. And Kevin, I'm going to back you up here because that's why I asked the question first, because we can't sit here and say he's complacent. That is us assuming what he is feeling, right? Being stubborn is saying, hey, I'm not going to change. Complacency would be him coming out to the press conference and saying, I don't care about losing. I've never, ever seen Mike Tomlin say he enjoys losing or he's comfortable with losing. Never seen that. Now making the changes to make sure you're not losing, that's a totally different story. And what I think is there might be some stubbornness there to actually implementing some change or the actual change that needs to be
said
done.
During his weekly press conference today that they're not going to change the scheme. They just need to execute better. And that's just being stubborn.
That is being stubborn.
That's being stubborn. So that's what I think it is, Lewis. But thanks for the call. You always bring up good points, man. So we really appreciate the call.
One thing I do, I love the Steelers, but I just know that right now I don't want us to go from first to last in the division, and unfortunately, it looks like that's where it's going.
Yeah, we got Cleveland though, so I wouldn't go that far.
Well, don't say that right now.
Hey, the one thing you might see, bro, they might bring Shador Sanders in, and he might ball out.
Wow, that's deep. All right, appreciate the call.